love is the most like important thing, most powerful thing motherhood has taught me. I did not necessarily had tough love growing up. So I didn't want to be a mother. I didn't really want to have a relationship because there was a lot of pain in my childhood. But the moment I became a mom, like the moment I found out, it changed me. I feel like it changed almost my biology in a way.
I would say it was very surreal. Like, I was really emotional on Mother's Day because it was something that I didn't think I was ever going to experience that way. You know, the year before that, Zed got me flowers, but I had miscarriages. I didn't have, a live baby. But he still celebrated me and was like, "You're still a mom, you still created a life, regardless of how long you had that life, you still created that life." And so he was very just cognizant of how I was feeling or how I could have been feeling, especially at the time, like I was on social media. I'm not really on social media like that anymore, but like at the time I was seeing all the posts of the moms with their babies and the fathers, shouting out the mothers of their children. It was very heartbreaking. But this last one with having Zara, it was like everything. It meant so much. Like, I was crying and I was like, thank you for allowing me to celebrate this way, celebrating. And we did nothing special. Me and Zara, we was laying in bed all day and I was watching movies, but it was just being able to hold her on that day and her being the one who did it. It was a very heartwarming. It was very emotional. I'm not going to cry. I don't know. But yeah, it was very.
Being a mother has taught me a lot, because it has required a lot of like quick adapting. So it's allowed me to see like how quick are you able to adapt and how effective is your means of adaptation. And it's made me recognize things that I can improve on, and also things that I'm really good at. And I think it's also shown me how much grace and compassion that I have for myself, because times can be challenging, whether it be with being a mother or as a unit, it can be challenging. And it's like, how do I manage those times? And it's shown me how I've been able to move through those moments. And so I'm really thankful. It's kind of like been like a mirror, whether it be like my partner holding me accountable or whether it be me being like, oh, like trial and error with Zula, like this is not something she is liking, let's try this, or let's do something different, or you know what I mean. And so when babies grow, they get into a schedule and then it shifts as soon as you get into the flow. So
Supernova Mama on Twitter, she's really inspiring, just because again, motherhood is something that I take really seriously. She's somebody that is constantly dropping gems on the timeline about gentle parenting and conscious parenting and just how to be the type of parents that we all needed, when we were younger, and I haven't gotten to take any of her parenting workshops yet, but I do plan on taking one in the fall, and I'm really excited about it just because, I see every day, I follow her on Twitter. I see every day the type of mentality that she has that allows her to parent in the way that she does. And she's also autistic, and both her children are autistic. And it's really inspiring for me, as a neurodivergent person with what I believe are neurodivergent children. They haven't been diagnosed yet, but, and it's very helpful because it allows for people like me, and she's a Black woman also, and it allows for people like me to kind of see like, okay, you can still be a whole person and a mother, and have your interests and still be a scientist and still do this, and also give your children the life that you want them to have,
Because I know as moms, think we could take on wear this superwoman cape, and it's hard. And I give kudos to single moms I think they are the greatest humans on the earth.
So I created Single Mamas Club because I am a single mother, and I feel like I give a certain perspective that I don't really relate to anyone else in my life. And I really wanted to give a space and create a space where other women, maybe who felt like me, could come together and share or vent, just talk to each other, get united in a way. And also, I created Single Mamas Club because I wanted to bring awareness to this issue, because it's a social economic issue. The statistics alone are mind blowing. Like 80% of the single parent household are single mothers. That's a big like percentage. And yeah, I just want to create something, and I hope that even though not a lot of people have shown up, which is okay, it's just starting out, I still want to present it and make sure that people know, or single mothers know, that it's available for them.
What it really means is that I have had to spend a lot of time getting to know myself really well, and that's really hard sometimes because you have all this other stuff going on, right? You have all these things that you're trying to balance. And for me, I think it's really just that I have so many interests that don't connect, that I have to decide if I want to keep pursuing them, even though they don't connect, or if I want to pursue interests that are related to whatever the thing is that I'm. So with the anime and with the, playing the space guitar and doing all this science stuff and working with animals, it's like none of these things are related. You know what I mean? None of them are related, but it's not even a game of prioritization. It's really just a game of allowing myself to sprawl out as much as I want to, just, it's like being an octopus and just having a tentacle in every direction, you know what I mean? And seeing how many things stick. And even and the octopus analogy is really good because even though they have 8 tentacles, each tentacle has hundreds of little suction cups on it, right? Each individual one can be controlled, has almost as a mind of its own. So and that's kind of how I feel. It's like I have these different selves who are all me, but they're completely different. So there's the mom me. So for those who know me from Twitter, I was on mom Twitter before I was on science Twitter, so I was really into the mommy stuff, really into the science stuff, really into the veterinary stuff, really into, Black people stuff, and as a Black woman, you have to be really loud about it or else nobody's going to listen. And that's just the reality. No one gives a shit what Black women are doing unless we're shouting it from the rooftops, and not that I necessarily need an audience or that I need people to give a shit, but it's nice when they do, right? Because I'm human. And it's nice when you do that, because what it does is kind of send a bat signal into the air for other people who are like you, who are doing the things, who like the things that you do, to connect.
Just like being more patient. So he definitely taught me to be more patient. And I think the other thing is, I feel like Carter taught me like what true love is. I feel like I have never loved another human as much as I love this baby. Like I'm obsessed, like for sure. Yeah.
While we're here, what I've been doing on a podcast, whenever I have a mom on a podcast, I always like to have a mommy corner segment. So I would say the question I usually ask is, when your daughters, if they tune, I'm assuming they go tune into this podcast. So when they tune into this podcast and they hear mom talk about her journey, what's your message for your daughters as like they navigate this life and they see mom doing the mom thing?
I'm not as crazy as you think. I'm not as crazy as you think, and no matter what anybody else says, if it does not feel right to you, don't do it. I don't care what the fuck it is. Don't do it. If it's a show, if it's a phone call, if it's an interview, if it's whatever the fuck it is, don't do it.
If it does not sit well with you, do not do it. Another thing I would tell them is, man, the world is your oyster, yo. You have a lot more resources than I did at your age. A lot more resources. Like, I had to go to the library for my shit. Like, and I ain't that old. You feel me? Like, I'm only in my 30s, but still, you know. Utilize your resources. Resources. Talk to people. Pick their brains. I have so many useless facts in this head of mine just from talking to other people. Like, it's crazy. You know what I mean?
What words would you have for Zara?
I would tell her, take your time. Take your time. Be obedient in the Lord. Listen to him, because he will not steer you wrong. It may seem like you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting and you're asking and you're praying and you're sitting there and you're like, I don't see anything. My prayers aren't getting answered. They are. But you just wait. Girl, wait. Just be patient. Be still. I want her to know that she has changed me and Zeb's life, like, for the better. Like, it gets to a point, like, you have a kid and, like, obviously you had a life before a kid, but then once you have a kid, it's like, dang, how was I living life? Like, how did I have a life before you? Like, I was missing such an important part of who I am, and that's being a mom. And I just want her to know that she makes everything. She makes everything. She's so beautiful. She's such a beautiful baby. Oh my gosh, I love her so much. I love you, Zara. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm gonna go up there and I'm just gonna show her.
Yeah, someone somewhere just grabbed a box of Kleenex. Just love hearing the love from a parent to a child. Yeah, and I think as you were talking, I was just thinking of the moment that I found out that you were pregnant, that you invited me to the baby shower, and just how happy I was, just understanding the full scope of, like, not even understanding the full scope, understanding some of the scope of what you had gone through with your pregnancy journeys. And yeah, just so happy to be able to be on this podcast with you.
Lastly, I would say I am always here, no matter what you do, no matter the mistakes you've made, because trust me, mommy got some stories. Okay. I was just telling my cousin 3 days ago, like, I literally feel like I've lived 4 lives because I've done so much in a short amount of time. You know, and that'll be a whole nother 2-hour podcast.
That's episode 2.
Yeah, that's part 2. We'll get to part 2 later on. But yeah, just, you can always come to me no matter what it is, no matter how bad you may think it is. I promise you, it's really not that bad. It's really not. You just gotta sit down, think about it, navigate through it, and you'll come out on the other side better than what you ever imagined. But you have to go through it. You have to. There's no other way around it. In order for you to grow, you gotta go through some shit. Period.
But honestly, I've been really honored and humbled and just thankful that it's all happened, that I chose to be a mama. So, and that Dula chose me to be her.
I had this conversation with my coworker. We were talking about moms and how it's hard to be a mom nowadays. Like, how hard it is for anyone to be a stay-at-home mom. And I told her, if I could, I would love to just be a mom. Like, I wish I didn't have to juggle everything else. I wish I could just be.
Giving you. So I strongly feel and believe that Zara is going to be such a
big influence in some space on this earth. Like she's going to do something so big.
What is your message to young Carter?
You are great. You can be anything in this world, and I support you with whatever your endeavor is. I hope you go to an HBCU, and I love you. I'm obsessed.
As you should be, as you should be.